What's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Rawstar of the Misfit Effect. It's so weird saying that. And of course, I'm joined with my wonderful, spectacular, and always amazing co-host, the lovely Miss Sarah Lace.
Hey guys, we are back with another episode. And oh my goodness, look at who we brought today. There's artists and then there's artistes. And
Oh,
today we have got us the gorgeous goddess Lilith here to show us what it really takes to be a top-notch performer.
hey guys. Thank you so
So,
much for having me. That was really sweet of an introduction. Thank you.
so for the unfortunate souls out there who don't know who you are, how would you describe like you?
Well, I'm a multifaceted entertainer and content creator and provider. I could say I've been kind of in some aspect of the entertainment industry since since high school. Basically, I started as a musician and then I became a model and then I started doing like live modeling events and one thing led to another. I discovered the content creation world. I discovered the world of BDSM and femdom and yeah, here I am a bunch of years later with multiple dungeons on either side of either coast of the United States and yeah, just doing the things and I've also been camming for a really, really long time. I discovered that kind of early on and realized that I had a natural love of exhibitionism. So there's been a lot of highs and lows in the industry as a whole, and for me as a creator and just as a person, but I have always sort of stuck with the things that I love, no matter what's going on, what the landscape is looking like. This is just the life I was meant for. So I can't imagine doing anything else.
And this is just my entire weirdness. I've never been to a dungeon. And I really needed one to go one because like the thing is up until like a few years ago I wasn't like I wasn't fully open with like the like how much of a masochist I am.
Nice.
Freaky,
And
That's
real good.
cool.
because I have like injuries now, I can't do some
Sure.
of the stuff I did before that. And the thing is no one really knew, like unless you were in my personal life. You was like, oh my God, you into what? I'm like, yeah.
Oh, very cool. I might have to ask you some questions because now I'm intrigued. I am a sadist, so sounds like there's a lot of things that we could talk about just, on the side.
Well, please, no, please ask away because, like,
Oh, okay, okay. So you're a masochist, which I love. What is your or like what would you say are like your top three favorite things that you like in terms of your masochism? Like what are you into?
okay, I love, like, one thing I really love is people who know how to properly whip things off of people. So, like I always say the story about this party I went to, and I got excited at the beginning of the night because she said that, oh, there was a event. I'm like, yeah, please put clothespins on me and then do that. And she got me excited at about 6 o'clock, and then about nine, I'm still waiting, and it didn't happen. So I love that. I really love people who know how to whip properly, because some people don't know how to do that and they mess everything up. But you know
Mm.
how to whip. I love that. Um, my degrade E comes into that too. So when you de please degrade the mess out of me to the point do you think I'm going to cry?
Happily.
And like and I can take it because I know it's a big do it right. Because sometimes people don't know how to do it right. Degrade the I don't cuss, but degrade the F out of me, like all the way down. But
Nice.
if you know how to like I'm not the biggest fan of like complete blood some people use blood pearl play, but I like if you know how to like do it over the skin safety pins.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, because some people try to do it one time and I
Wow.
started bleeding like not as much as I wanted to, but then you
Mm-hmm.
know how to do it like over the skin properly, like
Mm-hmm.
that feels good. And
Nice.
of course, the whole wax stuff and like I'm into almost most things except for like anything that causes pain to the genitalia reason.
Oh, I was just gonna ask,
Like I
like,
am I
what
am
about
not
ball
I
busting?
am
'Cause
not
that's
into ball
right?
busting. That is the one thing. Let's say this before, like ball busting and like people. I've seen people get into like people pulling out pubes. Like
mm,
that's one thing that I wasn't like basically anything in that vicinity. Like and I'm not respecting anybody who is, but I'm not into things being inserted into my rectum.
mm,
Yeah,
fair.
no
So
anal play for
Hey,
me.
I don't either. I'm with you there. So
so it's mainly like those are my known no's, but almost I will try almost anything once within reason. So
awesome. I
yeah.
love it.
And
Yeah,
oh
I
and
like to say at least try it twice because what if the first time's a fluke? The second time, you know for sure.
yeah,
That's
but
true.
true,
Yep.
true, but yeah, because if someone had hit me with a paddle the wrong way and it didn't feel good the first time I did, I probably would have backed away. So I agree, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's I like to try it
Because I've
twice.
been I've been hit the wrong way before, and it's like, oh my God, like let
Yeah.
me let me let me stop and show you how to hit before you hit me again. Because
Hmm.
like I always say, I do the BDSM test every year, and like yeah, it's always interesting because my degradee, masochist, rope bunny, and there's one more that's always 100%.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like I would have a lot of fun playing with you. So, I don't know if our paths ever cross in some capacity like that, like
We've
let's
met
go for
before.
it.
Right?
We've met before a long
I
time
think
ago.
it was at it was at one of the shows, wasn't it?
I think he
Um,
said it was X3,
yeah.
possibly.
It was at a convention or event, and submissive was 100%, and slave is 83. But it was like someone introduced me to you, and I was just looking for your card, and it must be in my other box that's in the other
Nice.
room. Yeah, and but yeah, we met before, but not in that capacity, not
Not
like
yeah.
yeah. Oh, I love being shocked.
Oh, okay. I've got a violet wand in my collection, and I had a taser for a while, but it was just kind of collecting dust. Not a lot of people are okay with being tased, so
Like I'm like again, like what's it? Yeah. People like to tase the wrong spot, and I'm like, please don't wear your
yeah, no, you
tasing.
have to know where is safe before you go ahead and use that thing. I mean, I think a lot of the sort of issue, and I can understand why, a curious, cautious person trying to sort of get into this world might be a little hesitant because there's a lot of people running around kind of just doing things without knowing what they're doing and maybe acting like they know what they're doing or saying that they know what they're doing, but they've never actually had any training. We were all that person once thinking that we knew a whole bunch of stuff, but like everybody thinks that when they're younger, but what is that saying? Like, you don't know what you don't know until
Yeah.
you
Till you
know.
know.
Right? And then you look back and you're like, wow, I didn't know shit. So kind of like, in a broad sense like that, right? But also just like, I implore you, anyone who's listening to this that's interested in BDSM, not just as a bottom, as a top, but as anyone trying to get involved in this lifestyle or as a profession, like, please take some classes. Like, take some classes, get a mentor. There's tons of people doing mentoring out there. I'm doing mentoring. There's a ton of online events, in-person events. or even just go on message boards and read people's experiences. Like there's so much information out there. I mean, some stuff's even on YouTube. You can learn so much just by doing a little diligence first. So, before you start going out there and messing around, like, you could really hurt someone or you can get hurt, on either side. You have to understand the red flags. Maybe if you're the sub or the bottom, you have to know, like, does does this person really know what they're doing? Because they can say that they do. I mean, I've been lied to by other people posing as dominatrixes that had absolutely no idea what they were doing. But if you know kind of like what to look for, you'll figure it out really fast, and then you can separate yourself safely before you do get hurt or involved
Yeah,
with somebody that you don't want to be involved in.
I think the biggest thing
absolutely.
is also is just communicate, communicate everything beforehand because I know some people are complete subs and they'll just allow everything. And if you are a good dom, you know how to adapt to it, to know
Mhm.
their own limits, whatever. And it's important for if a person is a dom to mindfully, even if someone wants more, is to know their limits because you know that if you give them more, it will hurt them in a serious manner. So that's important to. I'm sorry. I just want to throw that
Yeah,
out there because
No, it's
I've seen
communication,
things.
it's crucial. There has to be good communication. It's like the backbone. 'Cause I've taught classes on communication and scene negotiation, and it's just so important, but I think it's easy to get excited and kind of skip by that, especially if it's like someone you're really into and you just want to kind of get into it, but it's so important to communicate with your scene partner, whether it's someone just in your personal life or someone you're working with. And, I always say, there's professional scene partners I've done recorded scenes with for videos, like on more than one occasion, but sometimes somebody might not be feeling something that day. Like maybe they don't want to be choked out. Maybe they had a rough day and they don't want to be degraded or something, so you always check in before each scene, during each scene, after, even if you're, I know some people have mixed opinions on aftercare. Some tops are just like, nope, I don't like aftercare. And for a while I was one of them too. But aftercare doesn't have to be this whole like, oh, I'm gonna coddle you and stroke your hair and do all these things for you. I'm just gonna say, hey, how are you feeling? Are you good?
yeah.
You need some water. Like that's all. That can be aftercare.
The only
Water
thing,
and a snack,
one thing I
really.
do
Yeah.
when I do it for aftercare is if like if you know that this person can't be bruised, it's important to at least, rub just a little bit, just so to ease out the redness or what could leave a bruise to make it easier for them. Just
Hmm.
just so is my like, especially if you know that that person might not be able to reach certain locations, or if it's a location they can't see, to say, hey, this is blah 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 blah, and to inform them. Because even like you said, you don't not the biggest fan of aftercare, like just to let them know, like this is here.
Hmm. Yeah, I had a sub once, a female actually, that she could not be bruised no matter how hard I wailed on her. And I mean, she could really, really handle a lot. This girl, geez, I don't think I've ever played with such a heavy bottom before. And I used to get so frustrated because I love the visual kind of, the visual evidence, like the visual feedback I get after playing with somebody like that. Like I said, I'm a sadist. I like seeing the kind of evidence of my work. So I used to get so frustrated because no matter what, I mean, sometimes there would be a couple of us. She liked group play sessions too. And like we would, me and a few other Doms would just be really going in on her. And I'm like, how? How do you not have like hardly even any redness on you? But she was just such a Mazzo that was like, that was kind of her life. Like every couple days or so, she'd just be getting the getting the snot kicked out of her. So it's
Bet she
funny
really
you
had
mention that.
thick skin after this, huh?
Literally, yeah.
That's
Hmm.
pretty awesome.
Hey, I admired it. I was like, hey, I could never be on the receiving end of anything like that. I have a lot of respect for masochistic bottoms, because I've got a few guys, for example, that love like really extreme needle play, like bloody ball busting, like, I'll throw the spiked heels on and kick the shit out of them, and there's blood spraying everywhere, but they love it, and then they get up afterwards and they're all like in a good mood, and I'm just like, how did you how did you withstand that, right? Like I've been doing this for over 20 years now, and it still surprises me sometimes, like the degree of what the human body can be conditioned to take, you know what I mean? And just withstand. And so anybody that's able to, I mean, I have a personal friend who loves getting his balls hammered in with nails. Like that's what he does sometimes for fun. And I'm just like, dude, you literally have balls of steel. Like you got my respect.
Yeah, for real.
I'm sorry,
Sanity.
excuse my face. It's
Hmm.
like being only penis holder here. I'm just imagining the pain of that and just knowing that that's my greatest fear. That yeah,
Yeah, no, I would,
yeah. Like
I have a girlfriend, like one of my besties, back home. Shout outs to Bianca Baker, but she's an even heavier bottom than a lot of the men that I know. And like, I will be really, really, really rough with her. And she can handle getting kicked in the pussy, like hard. And I'll knee her and I'll punch her there. And like, I mean, I've seen this girl get whipped with a single tail, like in the chest for like 10 minutes straight. So she's a beast. I'm
Yeah.
just like, I don't, my mind is just like, wow, I can't even fathom the idea of me conditioning my body in that way to ever get used to something like that. But again, I think some people, like I said at the very beginning, that I was born to do, the things that I'm doing. Some people are literally just born that way. That, some people are just wired, everyone's wired differently. Some people are wired to like certain things, and other people like things like, extreme pain because they love the endorphin rush. And I mean, I find it fascinating. Even after all these years, it still just blows my mind sometimes.
Honestly, me too, because as much as I love to watch all the flogging and like the extreme stuff, like kink-esque, but my body itself cannot handle that much pain. Like,
Mhm.
I bruise up so fucking easily to the point where some bruises will actually become like little permanent, like scars.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've had it before where, for example, if my jeans are too tight, I'll get bruises on my hips, and then
Hmm.
that's caused little scars right there.
Oh, wow.
yeah,
I've
Yeah,
gotten bruises kind of like on the inside of my arm from wearing latex gloves or like a bodysuit because it's so tight there. And
yeah,
like I'll take it off and it's like all red and sometimes purple, and it lasts like I'll have these little almost like bruise stretch marks type of thing,
yeah.
like and they last for days. So yeah, I've kind of been there too.
Mhm. But it sucks. Like, I love watching it. My body can't take it. I'm like, come on.
I know. Hey, but you know what? That's okay. For me, I'm just like I love dishing it out. So
Yeah.
I'll do that all day long, and that makes me happy. So I've figured out kind of where my interests are
Mhm.
in life in general, but also in this type of world too. And I kind of when I was first discovering the world of BDSM, I sort of tried a little bit of everything, like we were saying earlier, you try anything once or twice. And so I did, just to kind of see like what I was into or what I would tolerate doing maybe for money kind of thing, because there were times I did photo shoots really early on in my career that were more like damsel in distress and involved me being put in bondage and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, the money's really, really good, but this is a no for me. This is something I can't tolerate actually long term. Um, you know, once in a while there would be guys that would be into like tickling and stuff like that, like restraints and tickling or tickling with implements. And so usually I'd be tickling them and sometimes it'd be like, "Oh, well, can I tickle you?" And I was like,
No.
I don't know, I'll try it, because if it was somebody, it was a client I really liked, I'd be like, all right, we'll do it for a few minutes. And so I tried that too, and I was like, nah. Like, like,
I'm I'm the same way. I can't. I get angry when I'm tickled.
yeah, it's really
Like
irritating.
mm, I've had it before where they requested I do it for a scene, and it was one of those things where it's like, oh, if you don't do tickling, then don't bother showing up. And I was like, well, I've never done
Oh,
it before, so I'll try it. I was like, why not? Let me just try it. I went there and I was like, oh, just getting so angry and irritated. And it felt like for no reason. I was
mhm.
like, I came here of my own free will to do this, but now I'm mad about it.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I don't like it at all. I find it very irritating.
Yeah.
I'm not ticklish. So
Yeah, he's not
Good.
ticklish at all.
the thing is, I was reading the bio they sent over about you, and first of all, everybody, and this is before we go on, go out and buy her book. It's called How to Make Bank as a Foot Model. I want y'all to go out and buy it before I say my statement. I
Thank you.
one thing in this world that is I'm not like I'm afraid of three things on this earth: dying, the dark, and I'm scared. I'm afraid of feet. I
Yeah.
I have a
Sorry, I didn't mean to just
no
laugh in your
no
face
No,
like
it's
that.
okay. It's okay. We get it. But
I have a
genuinely has
irrational fear of feet.
autophobia.
Wow.
Autophobia.
Did
Yeah,
you get like stepped on as a kid by accident or something?
I don't like ever since I was. It's more so the
The
it's more so
nubs.
the damn nubs, the damn
Yeah.
toes.
Okay.
The toes is just too much for me. And it's always been the damn toes. Like I've been being intimate with somebody and they try to, do something to, do whatever with their feet on my thing. And I'm like, it went to sleep. You didn't kill it.
That's
You killed the
that's
mood.
very unusual. I mean, I think maybe you've just had some bad luck there because that is not a
Yeah.
typical thing that
I,
most people
like
encounter.
as a photographer, if I have to take pictures of people's feet for like in the like it's just a small part of the photo shoot, I will know where the person's feet is, angle it in a way that I hope that it looks good, take a whole bunch of pictures, and hope that they look good. And then when I go to edit them, I will copy the edit style, whatever, on the picture, like three pictures before and one picture after, and just copy it and hope. And then I would tell them I will edit every picture except for these.
He's like, here's the filter. Tell me if you like it. And if you don't, oh well.
I'm sorry. But no, everybody out there, if you really want to know how to make bank, because I know people who really want to make money as a foot model, and
Mhm.
if you want to do that, she has a book out there that tells you how to do it properly. So go out there and buy. It's on Amazon, y'all. You can go out there, check it out, and buy and learn from this amazing human being who gave you the full layout on how to make money properly. And yeah, and
Mhm.
it's
Thank you
called
for the
How to.
plug, even though it's about something that you are averse to. I appreciate
Oh no,
it.
I will always support everybody's
Kinks.
no, not Kings,
Creative
what they do.
endeavors.
Thank you, creative
Yeah,
endeavors. That
perfect.
word. See, Harvard graduate. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how that book came to be. It was not really anything I had planned on doing ever. Like if someone had told me, "Hey, your first book is going to be about foot modeling," I would have been like looked at them sideways like that's not funny. But I wrote it during the pandemic because we all know what happened during the pandemic. Suddenly, my inbox was flooded from like everyone from like friends of mine from my like regular boring vanilla life, like people I've known since like school, to friends of friends that I didn't even really know, or like, hey, my girlfriend wants to get into this, or my wife lost her job, this and that, but I had so many people in my inbox like begging me for this information. And I was like, okay, well, it's really not the kind of thing that I can explain in a few messages. Like I can give you a few pointers, but like if you really want to know how to do this, it's gonna take me hours to explain it to you. And rather than charge people by the hour to give this advice. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna make a couple YouTube videos about this and I'm gonna write this book. So it took me probably took me around 20 hours to write the book. It was my first one, so I've written a couple other small ones since then that are more of like um they're more like guides to certain platforms like OF and loyal fans and things like that. But yeah, I was pretty proud that I at least finished it, and then it got nominated in the alt porn awards and it won the fan nominated category for best book of the year. And I was
Oh,
like,
heck yeah.
okay, cool. So I guess this is a thing. So, I did some more videos on YouTube. Some of my most viral videos on my YouTube channel, which is just search for Goddess Lilith Dom if you can't find it, but the user tag is goddess underscore Lilith. That's how you find my channel. I have a lot of videos about how to do lots of things as a adult content creator, but my most viral ones are always the ones about selling feet pics. And I'm like, God, I kind of like get away from this topic because even with my fans, I started in as a dom at foot parties, basically. That was how I met my first clientele. Um, I just sort of that type of content in a way can be easier sometimes. So, but there were a lot of people, a lot of photographers hiring for that type of content. So it was just kind of one of my only choices as like a non-porn model, like I do fetish porn, but it's so different than, like penetrative porn. So as a kinky porn person, you only have so many options that don't require nudity. Not that I find anything wrong with that. It's just a choice that I've made for myself, So, but over the years, I'm like, God, I'm so sick of doing all this, like this stupid foot content because like I got to the point where I was like, I don't even want anyone touching my feet. I don't want dudes fucking mouths like slobbering all over them. Like, I don't really do that many foot sessions anymore. And when I do, it's more like foot domination. Or if they want to worship my boots or smell my socks, like cool with that. But like keep your fucking mouth closed. Like I don't want, your fucking mouth on my feet unless like I'm really, really enjoying you, and that is so rare, but the thing is, I just keep getting pulled back into it because that is what sells. Not only that's what sells, but like that's what even the creator audience wants. I started branching off and getting more into a coaching role or just sort of like a like mentorship stuff or like, hey, I'm gonna share my knowledge with you guys. And just that's what keeps fucking coming up, man. Feet stuff, feet stuff, feet stuff. And I'm like, okay.
I
Like,
know the number one fetish thing out there is feet stuff.
Mhm.
And even though I don't get it, I understand. Because as I said earlier, before we started the podcast, I was talking about my previous co-host. He is really, really into feet. And he talks about it a lot. So on when he's been on here, so I can
Send them to my clips for sale
like
store.
really, he's really,
I have
really,
so much foot content.
and but yeah, like it is also like people who want to sell stuff. Like a lot of people just don't want to show their face. So it's a
Hmm.
quick, easy way to say, here's my
Yeah.
feet.
Well,
Hmm.
people think it's easy.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. People, and that's again why a book had to be written about the topic because everyone just thinks it's easy work. Oh, whatever, just snap some pictures of my pedicure and I got this bitch paying for it. Like it can be like that at times. I mean, if you're extraordinarily lucky, you might even find one at the very beginning. You know, there are some people out there that just get lucky and someone's really into them and they start kind of getting picked up by subs and admirers right away. But for the most part, like it's a very slow thing to build. And like, you know, there it's become a little bit of a predatory part of the industry as well because one, there's a lot of scammers on both sides. There's dudes pretending to be girls, they're catfishing with feet pics and stealing from other dudes. And then there's dudes who try to steal from legit content creators because they're newbies. So the foot fetish stuff tends to attract a lot of that. But also, like small businesses and small companies have sort of picked up on this trend because there's all these like, you know, foot feet pick marketplace sites now. I'm not even going to name them because they're not worth talking about. I actually, though, if anyone's curious on all of these sites that have popped up over the years for, you know, oh, easy selling feet pics, go to my YouTube and watch the video. It's about, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes long. I spent a full, well, I spent 2 months actually researching all of these platforms I could find, and I spent 1 month implementing daily, every day, selling the same content that makes me thousands of dollars on my other platforms, my established places like my loyal fans, where all of my people are, or my clip stores and stuff like that. Same content, uploaded every day. And I tried all these different sites. And unfortunately, about 90% of the sites were complete scams. They were just like money laundering kind of situations where it was like, oh, you can sell on here as a seller if you want to pay us $10 a month or $20 a month. And then so I put up some cash, you know, for the sake of the experiment. And thank goodness I made the YouTube video because I was able to, you know, uh like receive my losses back from the views on that video because I sunk quite a, you know, a good little bit of change into it, into all these sites. And it was a total scam. Most of them were just complete ripoffs. Um, no customers on them at all. And then there was one like the most popular one that people always ask me about. Like that one wasn't a totals like front, but it was very, very difficult to make money on there because it was full of fake profiles and a lot of the guys on there were scammers and time wasters and things like that. There are some real people on that one out of the like 6 or 7 that I trialed. But it's still not the kind of thing you're gonna just log into and start making a bunch of money. So like, you know, like I really get on my soapbox about this subject of people thinking that it's just easy to do this. Like it just like it really gets under my skin when I hear people in like the kind of civilian world be like say things so flippantly like, "Oh, I'm just gonna quit my office job and sell feet pictures instead." And I'm just like, all right, bitch. I want to like reach out and slap you because like not only is that so ignorant, but it's like it's kind of disrespectful to content creators that are actually out here doing the hard work that it requires. It's a business. If you want to make money, doing anything, you have to treat it like a business. It is not easy. Like, sure, do I wake up some days to like a couple $100 in tributes for like one feed picture? Sure. But how long have I been doing this? like how many hours have I spent cumulatively doing this? So yeah, that is one thing that I always take the opportunity to correct people's ignorance
Yeah.
about.
And at the end of the day, what the fans are really craving is communication. So
Exactly. That's the
that's,
whole premise of
yeah.
of the fan sites, like OnlyFans, loyal fans. They're not necessarily paying for the feet pics or the ass pics, whatever they are. There's so much free porn out there. You could just easily go on Pornhub, get your fix, log off, right? They're really wanting that parasocial relationship. And
Absolutely.
that's what you're getting paid for. You're getting paid for that sexting. You're getting paid to get in there and mess with their minds. Like you develop somewhat of a relationship with these people.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah, so
you know,
basically, anybody out there who wants to learn, basically, she just said she did a qualitative case study for you all.
mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I just finished my doctorate, and so I had to
Yeah.
learn about all those damn case studies. Basically,
Mhm.
basically, she did a qualitative case study for y'all based
I
on these
did.
companies, so y'all can go ahead on there and see see what works the best,
It
and
was a lot of work, and I have to tell you guys, I did not really enjoy doing it. For all the reasons I mentioned before, but
Yeah.
it is
especially
my
losing
most
money.
viewed video on my channel. It has the most views by far. So it was worth it in the end because, like I said, I was able to sort of get what I put into it. I was able to get it back, thank goodness, because oh gosh, what a miserable experiment it really was. And
Mhm.
the thing is that that video is already, I think it's going to be 2 years old pretty soon. So here we are in 2026. I'm going to have to do an update on it. I'm going to have to do another one because people are still in my inbox. They're like, oh, well, what about this one? And this site added this stuff and this one closed. And so I have to do, if I want to keep the views coming in, I have to do more coverage on this topic. So stay tuned, guys. There's going to be another one coming. And not only not only that, but I am going to be making a mini course out of my book. So, if reading
Okay,
a $15 book is not like, not enough help for you because you'd rather have a more in-depth kind of hand-holding experience, well, you're going to be able to buy the course soon.
Like that. Because honestly, I do love reading, but when it comes to learning about certain topics, I really just prefer like audiobooks or like YouTube stuff. To,
Yeah.
for example, just be sitting there doing my makeup and hearing, okay, this is how you do this.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
it's great.
I'm a visual learner myself, so if I can see examples of something doing a thing on my screen, that works so much better than me just trying to read a manual. Like, I think that there's some kind of crazy statistic that most people who buy guides or even courses, like, three-quarters of them don't ever finish it. They don't make it through. So, what I'm going to try to do a little bit differently with my upcoming courses is I'm building a community for sex workers. It's called Adultpreneurs. You can check it out by going to adultpreneurs.com. It's hosted on the free platform called School. It's Alex Hormozzi's platform, and I'm a big fan of his work, so I love being part of anything he's got his hands in. But yeah, so it's just a place to kind of come and ask questions. You're gonna have questions, you're gonna need support at some point in time. It's not limited to people who pick up the book or the course or whatever. It's open to everyone. But I'm hoping that by providing a space without judgment and around a bunch of other sex workers, that there can be a lot of open discourse and support coming from each other because this is a tough industry to be in. A lot of people face stigmas and getting alienated by their families. Like, I was alienated by my family when they found out I was camming. So I've been there. I know what it's like. I don't have a supportive family like that. I know several people in my circle who are lucky and very fortunate enough that not only can they be completely open with their parents, but oftentimes they're even supported by them. I've never had that. So I know what it's like to be the misfit and not have anyone to talk to. So I started this community to give people a place to feel safe and comfortable and supported. So please come and check it out. And I'd love to have you guys in there as well if you'd like to join.
Yeah, that'd be
Love it.
awesome.
Yay!
I do
Good
want to.
stuff.
I do want to continue on for one thing. Sour seed. I'm saying it wrong. Sour
Yeah.
seed. Tell us.
Sorrow
Tell us.
seed.
Tell us.
Yeah, sorrow seed.
Yeah.
So, I've heard some of the songs. They're
Mhm.
Oh,
great.
cool.
We
Thank you
were
for checking it
listening.
out.
Yeah, I listened to. I gotta look. It was the first one that popped up. Jesus Christ.
Okay, I
Because
watched the
it
YouTube
starts
music
off like really,
video.
really slow and then it just builds up out of nowhere.
Yeah, the one at the beach.
Ocean
Oh
Storm,
yeah, Ocean Score in the music video. Yeah.
Incinerate.
Mhm.
Thank
I
you.
listened to
I
Ocean
actually
Storm,
filmed
Incinerate.
and directed a large portion of that video myself.
That's so awesome. I literally watched it twice. I first time
Oh,
by myself, and then I showed it to my husband. I was like, "Babe, this is our guest."
oh,
My
thank
God.
you. Oh, I love that.
Mhm.
Thank you. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you. I know metal's not everybody's cup of tea, so.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's not really my cup of tea. I'm more of like reggaeton, pop kind of thing. But I was
Mhm.
listening and I was like, damn, okay. First of all, girl got lungs.
Thank you, thank you. Here, let me show you guys. For your viewers, I have this is our this is a copy of our most recently released album. This album's already old by now. We released this one several years ago. It's called Nemesis Engine, but we are working
I
on a
love
new
that cover
album
art.
right now. It's called Hydra. We just released the first single off of that album just a couple months ago. It is live on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Amazon,
Yeah,
all that good
that was the
stuff.
other one I listened to because it says like
Hi, Rosie.
which we released in 2026. It was Incinerate.
Incinerate. Yep, that's the name of the
Those like yeah,
single.
those I listened to Ocean Scorn and Incinerate. Those
Yeah.
are the two songs
Mhm.
I listened to when I was listening. I'm like, okay.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, Incinerate's the brand new one, and I took a negative experience that I had with another sex worker actually. Long story short, I was assaulted by a sex worker
Oh,
that had invited me into their home. Um, a whole bunch of weird drama went down, and then that person harassed me for like many years afterwards. Is still actually kind of lurking around watching me and shit like that. But I took that experience, which was like, just really ugly, and I channeled it, I kind of transmuted it into this song where I was able to sort of express all of my raw emotions, and now I've turned it into a place of power for myself and a really, a powerful anthem that I get to perform on stage whenever we play live. We've already debuted it. Last time we were in LA was the debut of that single live when we played at the Whiskey A Go Go, which is a legendary venue, like was super crucial back in the 80s and early 90s for helping a lot of big rock and metal bands back in the day get established. And it was like a dream of mine to play this stage. And we got to play a Halloween show for my birthday, and like we got to debut this song live on that stage, and like that was just like one of the happiest moments of my life. It was so much fun, and because it was Halloween, we had a lot of people dressed up in the audience, like wearing costumes and stuff.
that
So
sounds
it
amazing.
was it was really, really cool. So, that's kind of my philosophy on life in general. You go through negative stuff, try to turn it into a positive somehow. And that's one thing, that's a gift that music has given me all throughout my life. I started my first band because I was like an angsty teenager. I didn't have like too many outlets that I could express this sort
Mhm.
of inner turmoil that was going on, and this sort of existential suffering and things like that. And so for me, my music, especially my live performance, has always been very therapeutic. And that is something that Sorrow Seed has given me over the years, and I'm so grateful for that. Like, we're just an underground band. We're not signed. We've never done super huge tours or anything, but I don't really care. Like, sure, I love touring, and we've done quite a few DIY tours. We've self-booked several, and we've played in other countries, and that's been
That's what's
awesome.
up.
But I'm just happy to be able to have it, and when other people enjoy it too, and they tell me that it helps them get through certain things, or maybe they love listening to it at the gym, or well, we get that feedback a lot. They were like, "Oh, this, Scourge of the Hierophant, I love listening to that song like while I'm lifting weights," and I'm just like, "That's awesome." We got that feedback about Incinerate too. One of the first comments we got on the YouTube listing was just like, "Oh man, like I keep just like pumping this at the gym. This is the best." I'm like, "All right, cool."
Fucking awesome.
Hell yeah. Yeah, thank you for asking. I always love to talk about that. And it's funny because so many of my Kink fans don't seem to know that I have been fronting this band for all of these years. So there's actually a pinned tweet on my Twitter account right now, which is at Goddess Lilith 66. But it's just a pinned tweet of a dude like prostrating himself on the ground in front of me while I'm standing over him, like belting right in his face because we do have some dungeony, kinky, and femdom themes in some of our songs. So sometimes we'll have dudes just sort of volunteering themselves from the audience coming up on stage to get whipped or stepped on or whatever else. And it's
Love
it's
that.
really it's a fun time for me. I just love it. I'm totally in my element.
Either way, it sounds like such a great way to include your fans from both avenues.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's
that's
a really
great.
nice way of looking at it.
Mhm.
Especially because really say everything music is a release. So you get to release like things you enjoy, things that, hurt you,
Mhm.
whatever, or things just like, and then since you have a whole band around you, like y'all just come together. So it's a family-ish type
Yeah.
thing. So it just sounds amazing, especially like it's say y'all been doing it for s- a long time. I don't want to say
Uh,
years. I don't want to age
yeah, let's see. I
it.
joined I joined the first incarnation of the band in 2009, and the lineup has changed a few times, quite a bit since then. Because the first incarnation of the band were more kind of hobbyists and didn't really like going on tour. And I was like, "Hey, I wanna go on tour. Like, this is my vision, and it doesn't seem to align with you guys." So we ended up getting some new members, and then we moved across the country. We did a cross-country move from New England over to Las Vegas, so the lineup changed again during that time. And right now it's just me and my guitar player, Caden. We are holding it down and just sort of playing with live musicians until eventually we might want to add some other permanent members again. But we have found that it just logistically for us, it works smoother when we are the two core members and there's not a bunch of other egos trying to kind of, there's like too many cooks in the kitchen. And that's the thing about being in a band. It is, like you said, it's like being in some type of family, and that can either go really well or not so well. And it's a tough thing to kind of navigate through. And I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, okay, the less stress I have, the less pushback or complications in anything I do, like the better. So this is how it's working for us right now. We've done shows, our international shows, we actually did without a drummer because it was the logistics of not only flying another person, figuring out where we were gonna like rent a drum kit from, seeing what gear we could bring or whatever, like stuff like that. A friend of mine in an industrial band was like, "Hey, why don't you guys just use backing tracks for that?" And we were like, "No, we kind of were like, no, that's a bad idea. Like, no one's gonna take us seriously if we do that." But then he was like, "Oh, why don't the two of you come out here to Baltimore and you can try it. You can open for my band." And we were like, "Okay, what do we have to lose?" Right? Because if it's we're going to be playing kind of supporting another act. So obviously, like if anyone who comes out to see us is gonna like enjoy it no matter what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it seemed like a pretty low kind of low risk factor. Maybe if it goes poorly, then, we won't do it again. But it actually went really well and we got a great response from it. We made a bunch of new fans. Our fans that did come to the show in Baltimore loved it. They didn't care. Like they asked about it. That's the only thing. Like people do ask, if we play without a drummer, we always inevitably get like, "Oh, why don't you have a drummer?" Or like, "Oh, you guys were really good considering you don't have a drummer." Right? So it is kind of annoying to deal with that, but on the other hand, like it has enabled us to reach a broader audience because there's no way we would have been able to play in the UK. There's no way we would have been able to play all the way out in the Philippines if we had had that all that extra like logistics stuff to deal with. So, I'm the type of person that doesn't give up easily, and I always like to find a way to make something work. So I'm pretty happy with the way things have been going with the band.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's definitely a smart thing to do though, because it's also cost efficient to have less people in the group.
Yes, it's so much more cost effective. We used to have 6 people in the band, and think about all of those mouths to feed, all of those like it was either like we all kind of like stuff into the van and sleep, and we don't sleep very well because half the people snore like bears, and or it's like we have to rent like multiple hotel rooms. Like there's so much more additional cost, and then if we do come back with anything in our pocket we have to split it too between everyone. Now it's just, me and one other person. So whatever money we do make, we actually do come home with money in our pocket this way. Whereas when we had to split it 5 or 6 ways before, like we usually didn't have very much. We'd end up with like literally a few dollars in our pockets most of the time, if that. So it definitely makes a lot more financial sense. And unfortunately, with the way the economy is, especially the American economy, people are not number one coming out to shows as much
Yeah.
these days, and number two, they're not spending on merch as much as they used to either. They might come to the show, but maybe that's all they can afford to do. They can't afford to spend the $20 on the t-shirt.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't make a lot of financial sense for anyone that is not backed and supported by a label. And even in those cases, you can still be backed by a label and come back completely broke from a tour. So, in fact, in metal, it's really common. So, but we've never been in this to make money. We've always put money into it. It's a passion project for us, and it's a means of expression, and that's what we're grateful for. Obviously it's nice when we come back from being on the road and we're not totally broke. Like that's kind of the goal. The goal is never like, hey, let's go make a shit ton of money because in this genre, it is so I think I saw the statistics. It's like 0.5% of the bands in metal that make a lot of money.
Hmm.
It's crazy. It's very depressing if you think about it for too long, actually. I've got stuck there a few times. I've had some kind of moments where I was like, man, this isn't sustainable. Why am I doing this? But I'm like, you know what? Like I have other things that pay my bills. Like this fills my cup. So if I can do that without having to dish out a bunch of money, great. But at the same time, I am willing to spend money on something that's does fill my cup and it's fulfilling for me, and it is part of like my overall kind of like bucket list stuff too. Like, the show in LA, like we didn't come home with any money in our pocket after that, after we made the drive, and like there were venue fees, they take their cut on the merch and all this stuff. But like it was one of the top things I wanted to check off my checklist, so it's like when I think a lot of people don't understand when they go to see a show, especially if they're going to see a show that maybe they do have 4 studio albums and they are signed and they're doing all these big tours. a lot of people who are not in the industry, right? The typical fan consumer, they're like, wow, these guys must be rich or these guys have made it. It's like, no, man, like most of us are broke, like if music is the only thing we're doing. So, another message I'd love to fucking, kind of pull back the curtain and say, if you can scrounge together that few bucks to buy that t-shirt, that is going to go so far in the band's pocket. Like, please support your artists that you love. The best way to, a lot of people think the best way to do that is just to like go and buy the albums on whatever site they're on, but it's not. Like I mean, we get, geez, literally a couple dollars per album sale, and it costs us like four figures or more to record the albums. So the best thing to do is to buy merch from the band, go to the show and buy it from them directly if you can. And if you can't, just go to their Bandcamp, send them a little donation, whatever. Please support your artists because, eventually once that support dries up, like a lot of people get discouraged and they don't want to keep going. But really just that little bit of love goes a long way in supporting an independent artist, content creator, everything sort of in that genre.
Yeah, very true. Because, for example, even with OnlyFans content creators, there's this stigma where people believe that, like, oh, they're all making bank over 10K a month, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
No, that is not the reality of it. Like,
Mm-mm.
the average person makes less than like 2K a month on
Oh,
OnlyFans.
it's way less than that. I'm actually doing so my current research project that I'm doing. This is a nice segue into that. It's a book about OnlyFans. It's a several years long research project that I've invested myself into, including going behind the scenes and working for two different OnlyFans agencies to kind of see what they were doing behind the scenes and learn, some of these secrets. But anyway, the average that an OnlyFans creator makes is much less. It's usually not even $500 a month. I mean, like, their whole little percentage system is there for a reason, but 95% of creators on OnlyFans like make like, less than $300 a month. A lot of them make 100 or less. And so it's not that, people think that they're going to quit their job and become this super popular OnlyFans model because it's so skewed, and places like YouTube kind of, can sort of poison people with these ideas because the people that are successful, the small number of people, they will go out there and they'll be like, oh, I made six figures on OnlyFans my first year. It's just like that is so rare, and there's so many other things that go into that they don't talk about in these
Mhm.
videos. And they're out there giving the average person the
false hope.
wrong idea. It's almost like it is an inaccurate sort of picture and portrayal of what's actually happening. Like, yes, it is possible to make that, but are you going to make that? Like, the chances are pretty low and the odds are stacked against you. And
Mhm.
it is so oversaturated of a market, especially after the pandemic. So, but then
Yeah.
that's kind of why I'm making this the focus of my current research project, because there are so many misconceptions about being a OnlyFans creator. And yeah, thinking that you're just gonna get rich on OnlyFans out of nowhere is probably one of the biggest ones.
I've even met a young porn star who hopped in on a set and was basically saying like she watched like Playboy and Pornhub growing up, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be one of those porn stars who all she does is just fuck and lay by the pool naked, hanging out with a bunch of people." And I was like, "Girl, that is not how this life works.
That is not a thing.
Like we do so much marketing
You
behind this."
might get a day like in your like 6 months like that, or
Yeah,
like an hour like that.
exactly. Like the only time that will really happen is like, for example, at a convention, like XBiz Miami. Sure, you can go out and hang by the pool with other porn stars, but how often does that happen?
Well, also, you're not getting paid to be there. Like for
Exactly.
any of these shows, like most of the time, unless you are a very big name porn star and you are there on behalf of a company, you have
Mhm.
to sink all your own funds into that. And like I'm not saying that it's not worthwhile to do so, right? I love going to trade shows. I highly recommend any serious content creator that wants to stay in the industry attends at
Mhm.
least one per year because the networking and the things you're going to learn are invaluable, right? And actually, XBiz Miami is my favorite show in the US, and I just registered to go actually earlier this week. I'm hoping I score another nomination, so I can walk that red carpet because I just love that show. It's such a wonderful celebration. Everyone just kind of comes together, and but you're still working. Like, yeah, you're hanging out at the pool, but if you want to maximize your time, you're networking, you're linking up with new companies, you're going to the seminars, you're learning about the new laws. A lot of people will offset their costs by doing content collabs, which is usually what I do. Because yeah, it costs. I mean, I'm coming from the other side of the country. Just the airfare alone, it's probably going to be close to $1,000, not including all the money that it costs to stay on freaking Miami Beach for like 5 days. The food, like, I mean, you can't get a meal in Miami Beach, even like a little tiny chia pudding or something like that and a smoothie for like under $20. And that's not even like a real meal. So you're gonna spend hundreds a day on food. So I actually just posted up in one of the chat groups, I'm like, hey, who wants to room share this year? Because I'm kind of over just spending so much money to attend these shows.
Yeah.
Some of them have ambassador deals. Like I'm going to the Bucharest Summit again this year, which shout outs to Bucharest Summit. I love that event. I think they do an amazing job. Um, and Romania is just a beautiful country to visit. They have an ambassador program where if you make promo for them, and you make content for them a few times a month, they will put you up at the hotel and they cover at least two of your meals per day. They do breakfast and lunch every day. So that is the kind of thing that I'm like, okay, this is doable. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, airfare is going to be really expensive, but once I get there, I'm taken care of. They do a shuttle from the airport too, so you don't have to pay for that. They do shuttles to and from all their parties. So they're doing it right. Um,
Mhm.
you know, but not to say that XBiz is doing it wrong because I love those guys, but it's I think fans or maybe other creators that are not really behind the scenes yet, they see this stuff and it looks so glamorous and it looks like you're super successful and stuff. But meanwhile, it's like, ooh, I just spent a lot of money. I just spent like four figures on doing this. And, I that's a huge cost. Like it's something you have to work into your budget for sure. It's not this like, oh yeah, I'm being paid to be here and I'm making all this money and like I'm a big porn star. It's like, no, most likely you're paying all your shit to be there. So
Mhm.
FYI.
Yeah.
That's why I don't travel a lot because I'm like I'm not a content creator, so I'm not making money. I'm even going out. So like I've only been to XBiz Miami once, and I enjoyed myself when I was there. So I agree that one was is really really fun to go to. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
why I don't travel because it's like so expensive.
it is so expensive. Yeah, especially like there's so much pressure once you start going to the show to be like to attend the others because people are like, oh, are you going to, insert name here? Like next month? Like right now, it's like, oh, are you going to Exotica? And I'm just like, there's like four of those every year. Oh, are you going to, I've got to make an appearance at DomCon like in May, and then there's like XBiz on the other side of the country after that, and then there's like XBiz in Amsterdam this year, and then there's Venus Berlin in Germany. Like there's so many shows, so it's like once you kind of start going, like there is this sort of weird, almost like pull or pressure to start going to the others. And it can become a little bit addicting too, because it is awesome. Like, how often do you get to see some of your friends that you've made and only communicated over the internet? AVN, of course, too, is like the big one that everyone comes in for. And it's like, Yeah, like it is the best way to see a whole bunch of people you know at once, right? But if you're not careful, it's gonna burn a huge hole in your pocket and
Hmm.
it could just make you broke. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to say, because for example, for AVN, I did have my outfits ready, but at the last minute, I was like, "Oh, my red carpet dress it's not it." I had to
mhm.
go and buy another one, and then obviously buy the accessories and all this stuff. And I was like, "Why am I doing all this? I could have just worn the other dress." And here I am now spending an extra like $300 just because I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's a lot of pressure too. Like you
Hmm.
said, like that's also a good point. Like just I find packing a suitcase to be one of the most unpleasant activities, and I do it like at least once or twice a month. Packing and unpacking a suitcase is like the biggest bane of my existence.
Yeah.
One of my subs often packs for me when I have him around or unpacks my shit if I have him around because I hate it so much. But like the planning of all the different outfits for the day. It's like, okay, XBiz Miami is like 4 days. You need like a daytime outfit to go to the conferences. You need your bikini. You need a nighttime outfit for the party. That's 3 outfits a day. And then you've got the red carpet. And like you're like, oh, what fucking shoes do I need? You know, men have it a little bit easier, or masculine presenting individuals have it a little bit easier, but like they're not exempt from it either. They still need all the different outfits too. It's just like it was fun for maybe like the first year of my life as a model. But I hate it. I despise it. It's like the worst part of the whole thing for me. Like I would say probably the worst part of it all is like the money, the amount of money that I have to spend doing that. That's the worst part for me. But then like the close second is all of the prep that I need to do for it. And not just with the planning and the packing, you got to do scene coordination. You got to see if like what class or what seminars you want to go to, or what the hell can I eat nearby if I have dietary needs, or like if I'm not staying at the insanely expensive host hotel, you got to research, what hotel you're going to stay at and things like that. And then it's like, all right, I also got to start hitting the gym harder, going to crash diet or whatever, because I'm going to be in a bikini in front of everyone and there's going to be tons of photographers around. So it's like, it's a lot of pressure and it's a lot of stress. And if you're not already kind of used to it, or even if you are used to it, sometimes you just don't want to do it. And that's okay too.
Yeah.
Like, I really feel like unless you are nominated for something, like, you don't have to show up anywhere. And even if you are nominated somewhere, like, you give your thanks, you post on your socials, you thank the event that you were nominated in. And, at the worst case scenario, like, reach out to someone that's going and be like, hey, in case there's some small chance I win this thing, like, would you mind accepting it on my behalf? Done.
Yeah, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, our friends, we're going to be helping each other. So anyone needs help, like we might have a room to share, or we might be able to just go get your trophy for you. Like we are here for each other, guys.
hmm
But
Yeah,
at the
I
end
will
of the
say
day,
the sex worker community is really, really supportive of each other, and that is one of the nicest things about this community, I think.
mm, I do have to say that is probably my favorite part about it. Because like growing up in like high school and stuff, I didn't really like talk to a lot of people. Not because of any other reason other than the fact that I'm shy. Sure,
Mm.
I may suck dick on camera, but talking wise,
Right.
sometimes it's just hard to approach a person. But
hmm
when it comes to industry folks, a lot of us are like that. So we be looking at each other from across the room, and our friend will pull us over. It's like, I see y'all looking at each other. Here, girl, like, here, guys.
Yeah, it's true. There's so many of us that are like neurodivergent or just total introverts. And I think that that's the creator economy in general. I sort of did a little bit of research on that topic too. And because I'm starting to plan to offer courses and coaching and things like that in the future. And there are a disproportionate amount of neurodivergent individuals in the entrepreneurial space, especially content creation of any kind, because I feel like it's like the 18 plus kind of sector is easy for anyone to sort of want to get into because, at the kind of core of it, it's just like, oh yeah, I want to get paid to fuck on camera, right? But the people who stay, the people who last in it are the ones that have the sort of the makeup of being an entrepreneur and handling that type of business and lifestyle. You have to build your whole life around it, and a lot of people just are not capable of that, or they're not built for it. You have to be built for it. And interestingly enough, there is a huge cross section of the people who are built for entrepreneurship. Yeah, well, they're kind of neurospicy.
Yeah, I have noticed that a lot, definitely.
I'm definitely I'm a heavy hardcore ADHD warrior. It is both my gift and the bane of my existence when people are always like, how do you do all the things that you do? I'm like, ADHD. It's I kind of wax and wane between a high functioning and lower functioning person with ADHD. And I think it's an important topic because it's so stigmatized as well. Like it's starting to get more sort of mainstream exposure now, ADHD and autism. And I think that it's a wonderful thing because it's it's I mean, you could in ways like it is like a handicap. Like there are some days that it's debilitating for me, and there are some days where I'm just like, okay, I need a day off. I can't do anything today, and sometimes that sucks because it wasn't planned, right? But at the same time, it gives us, when you harness it right, it gives us an advantage. Some people like to call it a superpower. Like I don't know if I would go that far personally. If I could live without my ADHD, like I just might really think about that. Like I might actually be interested in that because for me, it's such a heavy sort of omnipresent thing in my life that I think it would be kind of nice to not have it. But anyway, I do think that there are so many of us that are have something like this, and not enough people are talking about it, and people still feel kind of ashamed about it, and some people don't like to admit whatever whatever neurodivergence they have. But I hope I can inspire anybody out there by saying like, it's all good. Just come out of the closet with it. You're probably gonna like make a bunch of friends that have it too, and you're gonna bond over that.
I do
I
have
have
a
a friend group that jokes about the fact that they're sprinkled with autism. Like they're all content creators, which is amazing,
Mhm.
but they have found each other through this. Like
Yeah. It's
we're
like a
able
little
to find a great
sprinkling of glitter and fairy dust.
exactly. And like it's great to be able to find a support group or like other peers who are dealing with similar things to us.
Mhm.
I will say
I
that. So
agree.
So I have two more questions, like to continue on really quick. So what do you do for like? 'Cause I read on here you do gaming content also,
Yeah.
but also what do you do for like what do you do just for fun outside of the music, the research and stuff like that?
hmm so this is gonna be like the nerdiest response ever, but what I like to do for fun most of the time is learn about business. Um, I am obsessed with a few different entrepreneurs who happen to make content. Like I said, Hormozy is one of them, and I really enjoy listening to his talks as well as his wife Layla's. I've been listening to a lot of Cody Sanchez lately, and I like learning more about how things work, how traffic works. I'm getting into sort of Facebook ad marketing right now. I like learning about things that make me tick as a person that is neurodivergent and how I can overcome some of those things. I'm really big on self-improvement. I think everyone should put a little more time into self-improvement. But the things that I do to truly, truly relax and unplug once in a while, I do love nature. I love hiking. I love a good hot spring. I, of course, love music. I love live music. I like going to festivals on occasion. Um, clubs sometimes. Back in the day when I worked at clubs, I loved being paid to be a go-go dancer or a DJ. Like those are things that I've also done in my life. And as a regular sort of consumer, I still enjoy a good club night once in a while, but it does kind of remind me of work a little bit too, just sort of residually. But I love traveling and learning about different cultures, different religions, and I'm into wellness as well. I've been I've been getting a little bit more into my Reiki practice as of late. I used to be a massage therapist for a number of years, so I still sort of am good with the self-care aspects, and I think it's really important to make sure to unplug and take that salt bath or, zone out with some video games, eat that friggin', ice cream sundae or whatever once in a while. Like do the things you need to do to take care of yourself. But maintain a healthy balance. So yeah, those are my things that I
I
like to.
have unlike my one of my minors in college is folklore. So I love learning about other cultures and stuff like that because it's so much out there just to learn. I'm a nerd too, so I get it.
Mm,
Like people message me just say I collect degrees because I be bored. But
love that, yeah.
yeah, so but yeah, so I just why I love that's why I love like just learning about different cultures. And I have a it was folklore and ethnomusicology, which is studying like other cultures' music and how they form and the instruments and stuff. So I get that part of what you said because
Nice.
it's such an insightful bit of information.
Mhm.
What games do you play though?
So for the longest time, I was super hardcore into EverQuest. As a youngster in the late 90s, I would lock myself in my bedroom in my parents' basement, and I was that kid in the basement, just like staying up till dawn, playing the game like 14, 16 hours a day. Like it was like my whole life. I had no life, had no freaking job for a little bit. It was good though because it was keeping me out of trouble. Because go figure, I was kind of a bad kid. I was kind of a I was kind of a troublemaker at school, and I was getting into a lot of things I should not have been getting into. So in a lot of ways, I feel like that game kind of saved my life. I
Okay.
was like, oh well. Also, too, like I was getting into I was like drinking a lot, doing some drugs and stuff, and I was like, well, I can't play the game if I'm fucked up. So I just, I logged in, and back in the day, like EQ wasn't just a game, it was a whole ass community because this was in the early days when MMOs were like as much of a social meeting place as like a bar would be. There were so many people on this game. I met so many friends that I ended up meeting in real life. I even dated one for like 4 years. So it had a huge role in my life. And for a while, I was still playing it on Twitch more recently because the servers are still there. I still have my character and stuff, but yeah, these days I mostly play stuff that's not so involved. I can just sit down and like play a couple rounds of Katamari or something like that, something mindless. I do a lot of like those stupid little mindless games on your phone. Like right now, I've got a couple merge games on there and like Townville and like little shit like that I do to kind of keep from going crazy if I'm sitting at the airport or if I'm in a long line at the post office or something like that. Like that stuff kind of keeps me focused on something so I don't notice how irritated I am, you know? But one thing I will say about those is like some people are like, oh, those games are like so useless and dumb. I'm like, well, I only pay the ones that like pay you to play them. So I'm on a couple of those like different apps that'll pay you to reach certain levels in those little like derpy little phone games that you make. So it's not crazy money. You can't fucking quit your job for it or anything, but it's nice to get that extra 20, $40 here and there to play stupid phone games. So even when I'm zoning out and, like doing things that might potentially be considered a waste of time, I'm still getting something back for that time. I'm still getting compensated. So there.
She's getting paid to play her video games. I'm
hmm
paying these free-to-play games, and I'm paying all this money to look pretty.
Right?
Okay, so we're gonna end off. We're talking about the podcast and what you're doing with it. So tell us about the
Yeah.
podcast you have coming up.
Yeah, so I am launching this podcast this year. I was inspired to interview other content creators in the adult industry. I've already done quite a few interviews, and the one thing I'm stuck on right now is just the cost of having an editor to kind of put everything together. So I am starting to like approach a few sponsors here and there because I can't really edit video too well. It's not my forte, so it is the kind of thing that I have to outsource. But I've got the interviews so far, and it's been really fun, really fascinating. I've interviewed all sorts of porn stars and doms, and it's I think people are really gonna love it. It is of the same name of my support group, Adultpreneurs. So if you go to YouTube and just search for the username at Adultpreneurs, you'll find it. There's nothing on it yet. Like I said, it's hasn't been launched just yet. I'm hoping to launch it maybe by the summer, like early fall. I keep just sort of collecting the interviews and the whole editing thing is kind of what's delaying the launch of it, but along with all my other projects too, like I'm working on this album right now, I'm working on the courses, so it's like, things are kind of I've got a lot of plates spinning right now. But yeah, the plan is to launch it later this year. I'm really excited about it, and I did quite a few interviews at the last AVN as well, the little like mini interviews. So I'm really excited to release it, and maybe once I've got things kind of rolling with it, I could have you guys on an episode.
That'd be
Perfect.
awesome.
But
Yeah.
also tell them like the details. Because I know you said who you interviewed, but tell them what it's about. 'Cause I know you said that it's a support group, but tell them like the details and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
so the whole kind of I'm sort of building like a little adult like 18 plus creator sort of like I don't want to say economy, but like a community sort of, and like a group and an ecosystem, I guess is a good word to describe it, because I want to inspire and help other people that want to do this type of work, because I'm not going to be doing this forever. I'd like to eventually retire one day, but I still just have a passion towards content creation and doing this type of work in this industry in general and helping people. I love just inspiring people. So the whole point is to kind of build up a space where we can talk to each other, and new people who are just getting involved in it can learn from each other. Like everyone has something to share, no matter what kind of skill level you're at. Like never stop learning, never think that you know everything, because there's always going to be something that you can learn from someone, even if you've been around for a couple decades like I have. There's still something that you can learn from the new person that just started a few months ago. Everybody sees the world out of a different lens and has different experiences and notices different things. But my hope with doing these interviews is to not only pull back the curtain on what it actually takes to be a sex worker or an adult content creator, but what has given people the ability to earn enough money to stay in this industry. Because it can be a lucrative career, but it also can be a complete failure for some people. So I'm hoping to help inspire other people out there, and also just give a place where people can tell their story. I love hearing the different stories of people that I admire. And so it's been really fulfilling to have just some one-on-one time with people whose work I really appreciate too.
I think that's very informative because I know a lot of people who come into this industry that have that 2 year burnout, and some people don't even make it that far. So yeah, it's a lot of information that needs to be out there because, as you said, people think they know everything, and that first 5, 6 months, it seemed like they were on cloud nine, and then after that, it's like, oh, the reality actually hits, and
Oh, this is actually hard work.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to just lounge by the pool doing nothing.
Yeah. Or hey, I turned on my webcam. Where's all the money?
Yeah.
So
Oh my God. I feel like that was one of the things I had to learn. Because people were saying, like, oh yeah, just hop on, just relax in your room and just talk to them. They'll send you money. And I was like, okay, bet. Let me try it. Sit there.
Oh man, that's such a gross oversimplification of what it actually is.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a learning lesson. Sometimes you have to experience it for yourself. But luckily, because of you, we'll be able to just hop on there and be like, hey, so how does this actually work?
and take notes,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Learn and take notes, and then read her next book too. So
Mhm.
we've taken up far too much of your time, and I'm sorry because like I'm looking at the time go, and I'm like, oh my goodness, we so conversation is so good, and we went way over, and
No worries.
yeah,
I had fun.
I'm glad you did. Like, please tell everybody where they can find you, buy her content, and all the other fun stuff.
Yeah, so the best place to find out about me as a whole is goddesslilith.com. If you're looking for the spicy stuff, you can find me on both OnlyFans and Loyal Fans under Goddess Lilith. Make sure you spell it right. Goddess, Lilith. You can find my band at sorrowseed.com. You can find us streaming on all platforms. You can follow our socials. You can join the mailing list, see when we're touring. If you're interested in personal Dom sessions, I do have a Telegram group where I talk about the tours that I'm doing, where you can book me for sessions. That is linked on my Twitter. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I do need to link it on my website. It's a fairly new channel I've put up, but my Twitter is at Goddess Lilith 66. You do have to type it all the way because I am shadow banned like permanently on there, but I am there. What else? I'm on all of your favorite clip sites. I should be the only Goddess Lilith, but sometimes copycats pop up before I have the chance to squash them. But just look for me. Sometimes you'll see me with my blue hair. Sometimes I look like this. And if you are a content creator and you're interested in finding my sex worker community, you can go to adultpreneurs.com. I also use that same handle on all of the socials, and the YouTube channel and podcast of the same name will be debuting later this year. So go ahead and give it a follow, subscribe to it for now, and you'll start getting those updates as they happen. And yeah, I think that's my whole like big ass list of places that you can find me.
Do you still stream on Twitch?
Oh, yes, I do still stream on Twitch occasionally. It's very sporadic, but I am Lilith Astaroth on Twitch.
Okay.
Real quick,
Yeah.
Sarah, like, where can they find you? Where can they find you?
You guys can find me on iamsarahLace.com. All of my links and my social medias will be on there.
We are the Burbank Misfits on Instagram, Burbank Misfits on Facebook and on the Twitter. And burbankmisfits.com. That's just everything we do from fitness, Sarah stuff, the merch stuff, and all the random stuff that we do in this world.
Hmm.
I am RAWSEARR on Instagram and on the Twitter and on Blue Sky. Again, first off, thanks Rising Star PR for sending us this
Yeah, shout out
wonderful,
to
brilliant,
Devin.
fantastic human being. So yeah, Rising Star PR, we thank you so much. But no, thank you so much for coming on. You are a joy, a pleasure. As I said, we went way over, and I'm like, this conversation is so good. I don't want to just cut it off. And like, yeah, so we really appreciate you so much more than you can imagine.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you
Everybody out
so
there
much.
listening, we will see you all, or see you all. We will be here for you next week, and be well, be good, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Bye, guys.